is number 22 SMU beating Duke in overtime, 28-27. SMU had like a blocked field goal at the very end of the game. Duke went for two instead of trying to tie the game in overtime. They didn't get it there. Just an insane game. Let's go over the highest grade players from the SMU Mustangs, starting off with the running back, Roderick Daniels Jr., 81.7 grade. I'll talk about him in just a second. Mike Lockhart, 81.1 grade, the D tackle. Alexander Kilgore, 76 grade. Elijah Roberts, 75, the edge defender. The other running back, Brashard Smith, 73.4. Kevin Jennings, 27.6 grade. They won this game even with their quarterback grading below a 30 in this game. And Dalton, you'll talk about him in just a second. Let's go over to the other side, though, with the Duke Blue Devils with their highest grade players. Linebacker Trey Freeman, 94.3 grade. Wide receiver Eli Pankel at an 82.5. Chandler Rivers, the corner, 81.3. Defensive tackle Kendi Charles, 79.9. Linebacker Cameron Bergeron, 77.5. And then quarterback Malik Murphy with a 79.1 grade. Dawn, talk about Kevin Jennings, man. What went wrong for him in this game?
I'll just be honest with you. This was about as bad as a quarterback could play in a football game. 27.6 grade, 28.5 passing grade, 5 turnover-worthy plays, 3 interceptions. He fumbled 4 times, and this was just throughout the entire game until he made the very last throw in overtime that he made, and this was just about, I was curious with Jennings. He was really the hottest quarterback in the country coming into this game. How is Manny Diaz going to handle this? And I'll tell you, Duke coming into the game had the 9th highest pass blitz rate in the Power 5. Kevin Jennings came into this game as the 3rd highest graded passer against the blitz. So Manny Diaz, I was like, is he gonna get out of the old tendencies, or is he going to make an adjustment and see what Jennings can do? He made the adjustment. He only blitzed his defense against Kevin Jennings on 6 out of 29 pass plays, a little over 20%. When normally I believe their blitz rate was around 46 or 47%. He was going to dare Jennings to sit back in the pocket and beat them and not break the pocket and do the athletic things that he can do and make throws on the move and have big runs and all of that. And 4 of those 5 turnover-worthy plays came against a standard rush. Mm-hmm. Manny Diaz made the adjustment. His defense played great. The story of this game was Kevin Jennings and just how poor. This was the worst game of his career, obviously, against this defense. And Duke getting 6 turnovers but not scoring on any of them. I don't know that I've never seen that. I don't know if I'll ever see that again. 0 points off 6 turnovers. You're going to get into the turnovers more here, but Manny Diaz won the battle against the hottest quarterback in the country, and the score to me is still shocking to see that SMU won this game.
Yeah.
There is, for the most part, other than I'll give their special teams unit that blocked field goal that should have been the game winner for Duke. I'll give the special teams unit credit, but Duke really deserved to win this game when you look at it.
Yeah, even Rhett Lashley afterwards was like in the post-game interview. When you would think like after a thrilling victory, you'd be like over the moon. He's like, no, man, we did not play.
No,
he's
yeah.
Like, he's like, I don't know how we won this game. We didn't. He's like, you even say I don't think we deserved to win this game. Honestly, he's like, yeah. So that was tough for them, honestly. But honestly, pull out the victory in Dalton. It was historic for them to pull out this victory because the record of teams that have lost turnover battle by 6 or more is now 2-124. Out of 126 times that a team has lost a turnover battle by 6 or more, this is only the 2nd time ever that a team has won that game. It's insane that SMU is able to win this game after having that bad of a turnover margin. The only other time that it happened was when Marshall beat Memphis back in 2011. So it has been a very long time. And like I said, 126 times where this has happened, where a team has been that bad in a turnover margin, and only the 2nd time where a team actually ended up being victorious. And somehow, SMU still have more EPA per play than Duke. And turnovers affect EPA per play a lot. So you would think with that many turnovers that they would have a way worse EPA per play. No, they actually were doing decently besides the turnovers against Duke, honestly. So I think Duke's going to take a long time to get over this game. The Mustangs were really handing them this game, and they just could not take advantage of it. They were 0 for 2 on field goals, including the game-winning chip shot that was blocked, 1 for 2 on extra points as well. So if they hit one of those extra points, they would have won the game. So it's just a lot of these special teams errors for Duke are going to come back to bite them, and the fact that you said 0 points off the 6 turnovers, that's insane that you couldn't capitalize on them as well. So, just insane that SMU was able to win this game when they had 6 turnovers and Duke had 0 turnovers. That makes no earthly sense at all, but somehow the Mustangs were able to pull out the overtime victory and continue to move up the rankings.
So it's the first ever, what you're saying there, because it was Marshall over Memphis, it's the first ever time it's ever happened in a Power 5 situation?
Correct.
I mean, that's just silly. I mean, honestly, it is, and I thought Malik Murphy too for Duke was really good in this game.
Yeah,
they just didn't finish. And let me just dive into this Duke defense. It's the most impressive part of this game because it was. Look, they had a 90 defense grade as a team, a 90. There's very rare. Usually you see that when it's like Ohio State versus an FCS team or something like that. And they did it against SMU. 6 turnovers, but their offense got no points on it. And you want the real number that sums it up for how well their defense played and how many chances they gave them to win. SMU on offense ran 13 plays inside Duke's 4-yard line, all right? Inside the 4-yard line. It was from the beginning of the game. This is how it was. It seemed like SMU was living in Duke territory. They ran 13 plays inside the Duke 4-yard line. They scored on 2 of them.
Oh, my gosh.
That's how good Duke's defense was. I could not believe over and over I was watching this. I was like, they have to win this game. They have to. You cannot have your defense play that well and lose a football game. And they just found a way to do it. And actually,
why wouldn't you?
I want to throw this out there too. I'm totally cool with Manny Diaz going for 2 at the end there. I'm totally cool with that. Because you know what? It's gonna probably come down to 2-point conversions anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just do it now. I have no issue with
my only point. One, you're at home, and I think, and when it's an even game, like it was a pretty even game, and you're at home, I think you keep going. 2,
how many more stops can he ask from them?
But 2, Kevin Jennings was horrible. I would have trusted, hey, he might screw up again, and then give us a chance to win. That's another thing too. Is Kevin Jennings was that bad? I'd be like, dude, give him another chance to screw it up. Honestly.
I don't really hate it. I think
I don't hate
probably,
it. I wouldn't have done it.
The game is probably going to come down to 2-point conversions.
You said you don't hate it. Would you have done it?
I think I honestly would have. I don't mind. I'm like, you know what? The game's going to come down to 2-point conversions anyway, right? Whether it's the next overtime, also, probably. But I mean,
to your argument,
the only other thing is that stat inside the goal line there with that.
But also to your argument, they were 1 for 2 on extra points, and they were 0 for 2 on field goals.
That almost certainly played a part when you had the previous field goal blocked.
That's to your credit. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think it was probably going to come to that anyway. I don't mind. I don't think at all. The Manny Diaz decision is by no means the reason they lost this game. They just when you get 6 turnovers and 0 points off of them. And I thought Duke's offense actually, outside of apparently those 6 drives, I thought they were pretty good. I thought Murphy made big throws when he needed to, but. Yeah, this is a tough loss, and now they got to turn around and play Miami next week. That's rough. I mean, hell, if their defense plays like that against Miami, maybe they got a shot. But this is a tough one to swallow for Duke because their defense, especially, they deserve to win this game.
Yeah, and the fact, now that I'm thinking about it, like the fact that they were 1 for 4 on field or on kicks in that game, it's not a guarantee that an extra point was going in.
That'll do it.
So that makes a lot of sense too. So yeah, I don't hate it. I probably wouldn't have done it, but I definitely don't hate the decision. My most impressive part was Roderick Daniels Jr., the highest grade player for them. So Brashard Smith gets all the love in SMU's backfield, and deservingly so. He's been one of the highest grade running backs we've had in college football all year. But Roderick Daniels was elite on his limited touches. Dalton, he had, the stat line's insane, 2 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown. This guy he averaged 76.5 yards per catch in this game, 116 yards after the catch, 9 yards per route run as well. He had 2 massive plays for SMU's offense that they desperately needed with Kevin Jennings struggling as much as he did. So when your quarterback's struggling that bad, you can just dump it off to your running back, and he's going to run for 80 yards on both of his touches, on both of his catches at least. That was a really impressive part. So wasn't a lot that Roderick Daniels did, but those 2 plays, 2 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown is insane for a wide receiver who's like a deep threat. He's a running back who's just taking screens and just going all the way down to the house, basically. So Roderick Daniels Jr., that was just an insane stat line for a running back to have 2 catches for $153 and a touchdown, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick a most impressive thing on the SMU side, so I can certainly understand that. They were huge plays. SMU, they got a lot to look at. Huge game next week against Pitt. And
huge game.
I have to imagine, look, it doesn't get any easier. You got Manny Diaz this week they were facing. Doesn't get any easier with Pat Narduzzi, and we'll get to that in a minute. It's SMU's got a lot to fix if they're going to win next week against Pitt.
And not only are we previewing that game, Duke plays Miami next week.
Yeah.
We're previewing that game as well.
Yeah.
No,
So
this is not the last time we're talking about the Mustangs and the Blue Devils
the
here.
ACC is getting fun.
Oh, yeah.